Welcome to Financial Issues, where we join reality with truth, helping you make the most of your money by honoring God with your investments. Now listen in as we give you the practical tools and advice you need to become a biblically responsible investor.
Good morning. Welcome to Financial Issues. I'm your host, Shana. Today's Rapid Fire Friday here on Financial Issues, where we strive to help encourage you in your stewardship journey. We help you to defund darkness with a biblically responsible investment strategy, and we encourage you to fund the light, to be a joyful, generous, and obedient giver, acknowledging that everything that we have comes from the Lord, and setting in our hearts to honor Him with what we've been chosen to manage. On today's show, we will get to your calls and questions. It is Rapid Fire Friday, and our phone lines are open. If you're listening to the live version of the show that happens at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 Eastern Time, you can call 610-363-1110. You will be the very first caller in the queue today, and we will be sure to get to you on today's hour-long program. You'll also get the latest economic information of the week summed up to get you in the know, and we'll bring you some encouragement from the scriptures, 1 John 4, 7, and 8. At Financial Issues, we help you to stay in the know about the financial issues of the day. We help you see through the noise of the headlines that's happening all around you and keep you abreast of what's happening in the economy and the markets, and help you understand the things that personally impact your own financial issues. Got several takeaways from this week that is ending today, February 14th, 2025. So tariffs have taken center stage for the last 2 weeks, overshadowing the real and regular economic data that comes out on a regular basis. Most of the tariff news that we've heard has been part of a 4D chess game that Trump is playing to right the sinking ship of America and to make good on his promises to make America great again. So far, the only new tariffs, I know there's been a lot of noise, but so far the only new tariffs that have taken place so far is the 10% tariff on Chinese imports. Now, other tariff executive orders have been signed, but they've all been delayed in order to let other countries know that there's a new sheriff in town, and to get them to the negotiating table to make a deal with the guy who literally wrote the book on the art of the deal. The Canadian and Mexican tariffs have been delayed until March 4th and may actually never happen because it looks like they are willing to cooperate. Both countries have stepped up and sent 10,000 troops to the northern and southern border to help stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigration. Well, except maybe Canada. Justin Trudeau's former finance manager and possible replacement, Chrystia Freeland, is vowing a 100% tariff on Tesla. So speaking of being retaliatory, she is spewing some very retaliatory rhetoric. She says, "We are going to go after American stakeholders who matter to the White House." Freeland told that to CNN this week. She also wants to target Wisconsin dairy farmers, saying that they are important to Trump. Well, how's that going to impact Tesla? Who knows exactly, but only 30% of Tesla's business comes from countries other than the U.S. and China. Tesla doesn't disclose exactly how much revenue comes from Canada, but I think it's pretty reasonable to infer that it's not that much. Canada has only 228 Tesla charging stations as of October of 2024, which is 3.37% of Tesla's global supercharger network. So we've got 25% tariffs looming on steel and aluminum that Ford says will blow a hole in the auto industry if they come to pass. On February 13th, just yesterday, President Donald Trump signed a memorandum directing the development of a reciprocal tariff system. It aims to just be fair and to match tariffs imposed by other countries that other countries put on us. And this isn't set to start until March 12th. So we'll just have to wait and see how negotiations develop. But let me ask you this. If tariffs were so inflationary, why did the Biden administration and Congress, or why didn't they outlaw them when they legislated inflation away with the Inflation Reduction Act? The Biden administration and Congress were very happy to continue the tariffs that were put in place by Trump 1.0. So there are lots of commentators now talking about the inflationary impact of tariffs. Well, my question, why weren't they screaming about the more serious causes of inflation over the last 4 years, which has been congressional spending and the bureaucratic cancer of fraud, waste, and abuse that has been literally eating us alive for decades now and is just coming to the surface. It's being exposed by DOGE. I would encourage you, pay attention to the elected officials who want the spotlight of DOGE turned off so that the gravy train can continue to fund their dark agendas, because they likely have a lot to lose when the spotlight gets close to them. Hopefully, they will lose, at a minimum, the trust and confidence of those who elected them and consequently their jobs. When the gravy train that has been funding the radical left, yes, your tax dollars and mine, have been funding NGOs and other leftist organizations that have helped to get these people in office. They are going to actually have to raise money from real people who really want their kind of representation. So let me take this opportunity to point out that disinflation has stalled and looks to be headed back up before a single tariff has gone into place and before President Trump took office. So let me just encourage you not to fall for the rhetoric that inflation going higher can be pinned on President Trump. At least not yet. Just this week, there's news out on inflation. So the U.S. Consumer Inflation Expectations Survey that's conducted by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York looks at the year ahead, and it remained at 3% for a third consecutive month in January 2025. So what this says is that those surveyed believe that inflation is going to remain sticky, higher for longer, 3%, not the Fed's 2% target for at least the next year. Well, expectations are one thing. What about the official numbers for recent inflation? They're hotter too. CPI, which is a measure of price increases that consumers experience. The BLS reported that CPI rose 0.5% on the month, putting the annual headline inflation rate at 3% and the core inflation rate at 3.3%, well out of reach of the Fed's 2% target. Auto insurance and eggs were problematic in the report. Current egg inflation is a supply-demand story, just like all inflation is. We've had a bird flu. 100 million birds have been killed. That makes egg prices go higher, at least temporarily, until new chickens are hatched and start laying eggs. So eggs have skyrocketed because of this supply-demand issue. I will tell you this, programming note, Craig Haugaard will be live Monday on Financial Issues, and we'll be talking to him about the egg crisis. That's not something that you are going to want to miss, so make sure you tune in. PPI, the Producer Price Index, according to the BLS stats, is hotter too. The Producer Price Index for January, which measures what producers get for their goods and services, increased for the sixth consecutive month prior to President Trump taking office. It went up by a seasonally adjusted 0.4% month over month, a tick higher than what was estimated at 0.3%. The annual headline rate for producer inflation remains steady at 3.5%, the same as the upwardly revised 3.5% in December, and above forecast that it would slow to 3.2%. You exclude food and energy, you get core PPI, which was up 0.3%, in line with the forecast, less than last month. That was revised up to 0.5 and above the forecast of 0.4. The annual rate for PPI came in at 3.6, above expectations of 3.2. Interesting to note again, figures reported during the Biden administration for previous months were revised sharply higher. The bottom line is what we see on the chart here. Here we have CPI, PPI, and PCE. We see them peak out, CPI in March of 2022 at 11.7% annual rate. They've come down, they flattened out, and look at that trend. They're all headed back higher. Markets are shaking off the higher inflation and tariff news because they have confidence that Doge's cost-cutting and tax policy that is coming to keep and put more money in consumers' pocket is going to work. I'm hopeful on some other things too, but I hear the music. So we've got to take a break. Stay tuned. Our phone lines are open. You've got questions. It's Rapid Fire Friday. 610-363-1110. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more information about what's happened in the last week in the economics and markets of the United States.
Navigating through investment options can be challenging, especially when you're determined to uphold your God-given values. Every dollar you invest is a vote for the world that you want to live in. Let your values guide your investment decisions and help to shape the culture in which we live. Become a beacon of light and pave the way with biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, where faith and finance collide. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
In a time when children are facing unprecedented challenges, the gospel stands as the greatest source of hope. At Crossroads Kids Club, we have the incredible opportunity to bring the message of Jesus into public schools nationwide. Join us in sharing the life-changing hope of the gospel with the next generation. The need is urgent, but God's love is powerful. Together, we can offer Christ's love to children who are longing for it. To join us, visit reachOurschools.com. That's reachOurschools.com.
Would you join Financial Issues and Preborn as we celebrate heartbeats? Your tax-deductible donation of $120 or any amount will provide free ultrasounds, counseling aid, and the gospel message to a mother in an unplanned pregnancy. Become a heartbeat hero and give monthly to save lives over and over again. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to financialissues.org and click on the Preborn banner.
Securities offered through G.A. Reppel & Company, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member FINRA and SIPC. Opinions expressed by Shana are hers alone and are for informational purposes only and do not necessarily represent those of G.A. Reppel or the outlet on which you are listening. You should consider how the information applies to your situation prior to personally implementing it and consult any financial professional you work with to make sure it's applicable to your financial plan.
Hey folks, we're back for more financial issues. Our phone lines are open for Rapid Fire Friday. 610-363-1110 is the phone number. I do want to wrap up some of my thoughts here to get you in the know about all of the things that are that have happened this week, which, a lot of which we have talked about throughout the show during the week, but on Friday we just try to give a little recap. So, talking about inflation, what are some of the things that could help? Well, I'm hopeful that mass deportations will help with inflation. I think it's going to free up housing. I think it's also going to help to dampen demand on consumer products. When you have a flow of confiscated tax dollars plus money that the U.S. government has borrowed, and you have that money put on government benefit cards and handed out to people who have broken our laws and entered our country, and the Biden administration has incented them by paying them with social benefits to come here, you get inflation. You get less money. When you stop this, you get less money competing with U.S. consumers for goods and services in housing. So, Combine that with the money that taxpayers get to keep out of the inefficient government programs and decide themselves where to spend it. So cutting government spending is going to go a very, very long way in helping to curtail inflation. Tariffs are sort of a consumption tax if you want to think about it that way. You don't actually, if producers actually pass the tariffs along and don't eat them themselves, the foreign countries, which China was known to do under Trump 1.0. But if tariffs are passed on to the consumer, it acts as sort of a consumption tax. So you don't collect taxes from everyone who gets income. I know that may come as a shocker to you, but some people get paid under the table in cash. Some people just don't pay their taxes. And, but everyone who consumes products would pay those expenses, pay those taxes that would have them pass along. So I'd rather see higher prices coming from tariffs than from inflation caused by inefficient government spending. At least I have a choice in what I pay. I can choose to buy these items or not, or I can look for American-made alternatives. Ending the Ukraine war, which President Trump has also announced this week, is well on its way, with talks with both presidents, Vladimir Putin and Zelensky, and them indicating that they're both ready to end the war. This is going to pave the way to remove sanctions on Russian oil. Guess what that does? That legitimately increases the supply of oil onto the market, which helps to lower prices. So bottom line is that we've got a real push and pull going on with inflation. We've got inflationary forces that are threatening to push inflation higher, and then we've got other things like spending cuts and things like that that indicate inflation will go lower. Time will tell. If tax cuts, spending cuts, incoming tariffs, and business incentivizing policies of the Trump administration combined all of the ingredients together in the right proportions to make one big, beautiful cake. I'm hopeful. The Small Business Optimism Index this week also fell back a little bit to 102.8 in January of 2025. In December, it was 105.1, which was the highest that we've seen since October of 2018, and below the forecast of 104.6. If you want to hear more about that, go back and watch the show from, I believe it was February the 11th. I believe it was this past Tuesday. We talked a little bit more in depth about that. Turning to the markets, the markets got off to a rough start this week on the inflation. With the inflation data that we got out right before the market opened yesterday and the day before. But after digesting the hotter inflation reports, the markets see some of the components that flow into PCE as okay enough not to put upward pressure on this PCE number, which is the preferred gauge of inflation that the Fed makes. And so even though the reports overall were hotter, some of those components that flow into PCE indicate that PCE might be still kind of okay, and the Fed will not reverse course and start hiking, but probably continue the hold it where you got it interest rate stance that they're in right now. And I believe that Wall Street believes that help is on the way. So it's just refreshing to see business not as normal in this country. So for the week, up to the market has not opened on this Friday morning yet, but so far this week, the Dow is up 0.38%, the S&P is up 1%, and the NASDAQ up 1.44%. The pre-markets are indicating it open right around the flat line, just slightly in negative territory. So earnings drive stock prices long term, and earnings are coming in up 16% for the fourth quarter of 2024. So I think the market has confidence in the unfolding Trump economy, and I think at least for now, the bull market that we have been in can continue, but who knows what black swan event could be right around the corner. So I just encourage you, stick with your long-term strategy, be disciplined, be consistent, and trust in the Lord. What's coming next week? Well, nothing earth-shaking. The FOMC minutes are going to be released. I suspect that will be a big nothing burger, since we have already had a Fed press conference, 2 congressional hearings by Chair Powell, and multiple Fed members speak since the FOMC meeting happened at the end of January. We'll also get some housing construction data out next week, which will likely show a still challenged housing market. Now that you're in the know about the recent and upcoming financial issues, we hope that you will learn more about how we can help you to integrate those issues into your own stewardship. Find out more about how we can help you defund darkness with our biblically responsible investment strategy. We would encourage you, become a partner today. It's only $132, and you're going to get so much more value for what you pay. You'll be able to get access to our asset allocation models, our buy list. You'll be notified of any sales that we think that you should make for companies that have been on our buy list in the past. You'll get weekly commentary that you can go read on the partner side of the website, and you'll get access to a monthly partner conference call where we'll discuss the more in detail the things that we are thinking, the trends that we are following, the themes that are sort of behind what appears on our buy list, and answer questions and help you in your biblically responsible investment strategy and other financial planning type strategies that you can use to be a good steward with everything that the Lord has given. All right, Seth, I think we might have time for a question. Maybe
Let's do it,
question.
Shana. Sure. Linda is first one here, 73 years old. Linda's asking, on your buy list for preferred stocks for income, is it okay to buy a micro cap and or a small cap stock? I usually go with mid cap or large cap on stocks. What do you think, Shana, for Linda, 73?
Yeah, so in general, the size of a company can indicate the risk level of a company. We tend to think of large company stocks as being well established in their business plan, having a successful track record. Mid-cap companies are still growing. They're still proving whether or not they have a good long-term strategy for success. And small cap and micro caps tend to be the most aggressive. But we only have one small cap company on the buy list for preferreds. We don't have any micro caps that I'm aware of, and I did just check this yesterday. But we feel good about the ability to pay that all of these companies have for their ability to pay what they've promised to pay, which is the dividends on the preferred stock. So that's the most important thing. So for all the companies that are on our buy list, we feel good about their ability to pay. So, I think you could really go with any of them. I would just encourage you to read a little bit about them, see what they do, see if you feel comfortable with what they do and what they're offering.
Awesome. Thanks, Shana. Good stuff.
Let's transition and end this part of the show with our stewardship verse of the day. It comes from 1 John 4, 7, and 8. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. So I know today is Valentine's Day, but love has little to nothing to do with that cute little Cupid character that we see in all the retail stores as we go shopping. Cupid is the Roman god of love, and he represents attraction and affection. That type of love is called eros, and it is a very shallow kind of love that usually initiates the relationship between those who would become husband and wife. But true love, agape love, is the highest form of love. It is a selfless, unconditional, and sacrificial love that is only done perfectly by God. But it is the kind of love that every human being desires from the depths of our soul. And it's the kind of love that we, as Christians, should strive to offer to others. But we can't give what we don't have. Our love for others will increase exponentially, though, the more that we know God. If we want to know how well we know God, who is love, we can examine our relationships with other people. I'm sure that if we honestly evaluate our relationships, we're going to find that we come up short in more than one. I know that I do. To know God is to love Him. So let's make that our daily goal, to know God more and more. Well, folks, I hear the music. That means we've got to go today. I would encourage you, make a donation to our Heartbeat campaign for preborn ministries. Today's the last day to make an impact and push back against the darkness of abortion. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more financial issues.
Where's Mima? We found out Shepard's diagnosis when I was about 17 weeks pregnant. We learned that he was going to need a series of surgeries after he was born in order to give him what they considered a normal life. And we weren't sure how this worked.
Yeah, very emotional, very, very broken. And as my wife just said, not sure how this worked. And called Samaritan, and they said, you just go have that baby. You leave the rest to us.
And just to hear the confidence on the other end of the phone of, this is not something that you need to be concerned about at all. You focus on the health of your family, the health of your baby, and we will walk with you every step of the way.
Did you know that an unborn baby's heart will beat an average of 120 times per minute? That precious sound is the sound of life. This Valentine's month, would you join Financial Issues and Preborn as we celebrate heartbeats? Your tax-deductible donation of $120 or any amount will provide free ultrasounds, counseling aid, and the gospel message to a mother in an unplanned pregnancy. Become a heartbeat hero and give monthly to make an impact and save lives over and over again. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, baby. Or go to financialissues.org. That's financialissues.org and click on the preborn banner. Become a heartbeat hero and give monthly to preborn as they seek to save lives.
Pharrell came to Crossroads as a fourth grader. His name had been brought to my attention by the school principal. She was concerned about the direction he was heading.
I remember I wasn't the best kid. I got into trouble a lot.
He became a very active part of Crossroads Kids Club.
Mr. Engel, he was the leader that really impacted my life in so many ways. I honestly didn't want Crossroads to end.
We would invite all the students to come to our youth group here at Waterfront.
I felt God saying, come on, come to me. It felt like I was set free.
And I'll never forget the day when we had the privilege and the honor to baptize Pharrell.
I hugged Mr. Engel. I don't know if he understands. I'm truly, thankful to have him through the whole journey. If it wasn't for Crossroads, I probably wouldn't be in the place that I am right now. I wouldn't be a follower of Christ.
Help reach more kids like Pharrell with the hope of the gospel. Visit reachourschools.com.
Welcome back to Financial Issues, and the second half of our program today, we have Rapid Fire Friday going on. 610-363 is the phone number to get your call in our queue. You'll be the second in the queue. I wanted to continue on what we were talking about right before the break. We were talking about our scripture, our stewardship verse of the day, being all about love, and God is love, and that those who know God know love and can then love. So, a true act of love is to give something up for the sake and the benefit of others. And I mentioned briefly before the break that today is the last day to contribute to our Heartbeat campaign. So one of the things that we do here at Financial Issues, we defund darkness with biblically responsible investing. The second part of our mission is to fund the light. So to encourage you to be a joyful and generous giver. And Preborn Ministries has been a long-time partner of ours. We are fully behind the work that they do in pushing back against the darkness of abortion. And there is a very practical way that you can practice love on this Valentine's Day. You can show your love for preborn babies and the parents who find themselves in crisis pregnancy by contributing to Preborn's Heartbeat campaign. Seth, do you have an update on that for us?
I do, Shana. Yeah, it's been great so far, folks. We've raised over $11,000. We're creeping up on $12,000 right now as we speak. Of course, our goal is $21,000 by the end of this week. So we need a big day today to hit that, but that's nothing. That's nothing compared to what the Lord can do and has done through the Financial Issues family before. So yeah, preborn.com/FISM is the place to go for that.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I do see that we have a call in the queue. We'll try to get to Frank. Frank's calling from Virginia. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Frank, good morning. Are you with us?
I am.
Hey, brother, you're live on Financial Issues. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I got 3 quick Friday kind of questions for you.
Great.
The first one has to do with TE80. And I think I missed a sell on that one because I couldn't find it. It's going down, and I couldn't find it on the broad list. So I think I must have missed a sell.
Okay, go ahead with the rest of your question because I'm going to have to look up what all these are.
Okay, the other one is CD43, and that's down quite a bit. And I'm curious as to whether I should buy more, get rid of what I have, or hold on to what I have. And the third one is FR57, which is a new one, and they've got a couple of preferreds with the main stock, and I just wondered whether we should consider those preferreds.
Okay, CD43. CD43 is in an industry that is suffering right now. That they sell some products that are not really necessary, and they tend to do well when consumer spending is really, really strong. They are still a hold at this point. You could put more in if you want. They do have a pretty good dividend yield, but I certainly wouldn't get rid of it. So I probably would just hold what I have and look at some of the other companies on the buy list, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for income or growth. Or as far as the new FR57, what was your question there?
They've got some preferreds in addition to the regular stock, and I just wondered whether we should consider the preferreds.
I have not done any analysis on the preferreds, so if it's not on our buy list, I can't really speak to it.
Okay.
And then what was the other one?
Was TE80, and I think I might have missed a sell order on that one.
I don't think that you did. Seth, do you?
I'm looking through for that one right now, Frank. I'm not seeing that you missed a sell alert on that one either, brother.
I don't think so either.
Yep.
Now, it is on BRI Watch, so if you're wondering whether you should add more to it, I would say no. It is technically clean right now, therefore we have not issued a sell, but there are some developments that we're watching with that company. So, if they go in the wrong direction, we could be issuing a sell alert for them.
Okay. Well, Thank you very much.
Good.
Thanks, Frank.
And have a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too. All right.
That's great. Shannon, probably got time for another couple questions here.
Okay, let's do it.
Before the ag. Maria is up. No, I'm sorry. That's Marla. I need to read that correctly. Marla, 59 years old, is wondering, when considering an IRA, Roth, individual accounts, does it matter what types of investments go into each?
Well, it depends on who you ask. But since you're asking me, I would say yes. So, if you've ever used a financial advisor or a professional management, you probably find that your accounts have the same holdings in them, no matter what type of account it is. One of the cornerstones of our strategy here, I believe in a tax-located type of investment strategy, because it not only matters what your return is on your investments, it matters most what you get to keep of it. So there are different types of accounts. There are pre-tax accounts like traditional IRAs where you get a tax break on the money that goes in. You don't pay taxes while it's growing, but you pay taxes when the money comes out. You have Roth type of accounts that grow tax-free, so you don't get a tax break on the money that you put into those accounts, but you get tax-free growth out of a Roth account. And then you have just regular individual investment accounts, taxable accounts. Those are all kind of interchangeable terms where you just pay taxes as you go. So you don't get any tax breaks when you invest money. If you earn interest or dividends, you pay taxes on those. If you sell your investments for a gain or a loss, so you either get a little bit of a tax break or you get taxed based on whether or not you made money. So I believe that it's a good idea to try to maximize the tax benefits that come with different types of accounts. So in an IRA account, you have to remember that you're not only growing your money, but you're growing your future tax liability. So whatever money grows in that type of account is growing for you, and you're growing the part that you're eventually going to pay to the government. So in your IRA, I would put the slowest growing pieces and income producing pieces of your portfolio. That way, you can reserve your most aggressive pieces of your portfolio, the ones that are going to grow the most, for your Roth account. So that's kind of the other end of the spectrum. So your technology stocks, your aggressive growth stocks, all of those should go in your Roth account because they're going to grow the most. I mean, just think, NVIDIA years ago was on our buy list, and NVIDIA's up somewhere around 1,000% since we put it onto the list. So just imagine if you had that in your traditional account, yes, you would have made 1,000% for yourself, but subtract out now what you made for the government, and that's what you get to keep. In your Roth account, you get to keep the whole amount. In your individual account or your taxable account, I would try to locate the most tax efficient pieces of your portfolio. So look to own things that you may never have to sell. That way you can, kind of minimize or control your capital gains tax. Your ETF, part of your strategy, that's a great investment to hold in that type of account because they do have a little bit more tax efficiency. So at the end of the day, it's not just about what you make, it's about what you keep. So you can use our portfolio tracker. You can put all of your accounts on one tracker. The portfolio tracker is an asset allocation tool. It helps you to see how your strategy is lining up with the recommendations that we make. Well, folks, we've got to take a break. Here comes Craig Haugaard.
This is Craig Haugaard with your Financial Issues Egg update for February 14th. Corn, along with other grains, reacted to a ton of headline risk yesterday, including Trump reciprocal tariffs, Russia-Ukraine war uncertainty, and South American weather, which looks to be improving. In fact, in Brazil, I'm now hearing that there's been decent progress on winter corn planting, with about 50% of that crop now in the ground. March corn was 3.25 cents higher yesterday at $4.93 1/2 cents per bushel. In spite of weaker export sales and strong Brazilian production forecasts, the soybean market was able to post a higher close. In fact, at the closing bell, March beans were 2.25 cents higher at $10.30 a bushel. The wheat market was tugged in different directions, with Trump announcing and Russia confirming the negotiations to end the war in Ukraine have begun. Weekly export sales of 20.9 million bushels were better than expected and well above the 8.6 million that we need to average in order to hit the USDA's annual projection. We had Minneapolis March wheat 2 cents higher at the close at $6.16 3/4. Kansas City was 6 3/4 cents better at $5.98 1/4. And we had Chicago advancing 3.5 cents to settle at $5.77 3/4. Cotton futures traded lower and ended up roughly in the middle of the recent trading range. At the closing bell, March futures were 64 points lower as they ended the day at 66.83. Livestock futures were mixed. We had April live cattle 80 cents higher, closing at $196, 52.5 cents per hundredweight. March feeder cattle were $3 higher as they settled at $267, 97.5 cents per hundred, while April lean hog futures dropped by $1, 22.5 cents, closing out today at $93.10 per hundredweight. Class 3 milk futures were stuck in a very narrow trading range. When the closing bell finally sounded, March futures were up 1 single point at 19.79. Well, this has been Craig Haugaard with your Financial Issues Ag Update. We'll be right back with more financial issues after this.
It's up to us to stand up and say, enough is enough. All of this unbiblical stuff that's going on, whether it's abortion or transsexual or LGBTQ, widespread pornography, human trafficking. Bottom line, it's still up to us. If we stop investing in these corporations that are trying to destroy us, sooner or later they're going to wake up.
To learn more about biblically responsible mutual funds and ETFs, go to timothyplan.com.
This Valentine's season, we invite you to join Financial Issues and Preborn in a mission to save babies and transform lives. Your donation of $120 can make an extraordinary difference. This amount represents the average number of times an unborn baby's heart beats in a single minute. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby, or go to financialissues.org and click on the Preborn banner.
What separates Crossroads Kids Club from other ministries to reach school-age children? What sets you guys apart?
First of all is our connection with local churches. We mobilize, equip, train, support local church partners. We're right inside the schools. There's a number of ministries that try to serve public school children outside of the school, but we're able to be right there on the campus. Another key thing is just our values. Our highest value is actually relationships. And so we're not a ministry that's driven by a lot of fancy technology or flashy stuff, but rather getting adults who love Jesus and who love kids to sit on the floor with a group of kids, to listen to them, to love them. So I would say the relational emphasis and the simplicity of the model is actually something that makes Crossroads special as well.
Help reach kids with the hope of the gospel. Visit reachOurschools.com.
The opinions and recommendations expressed on this program do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station or any of the program sponsors. Additionally, all products or services offered by the program sponsors may not be known by the program.
Welcome back to Financial Issues. Today's Rapid Fire Friday, but we've only got a short time left in the show. So if you have a question, get your call queued up at 610-363-1110. I would say if you get your call in the next minute or two, we'll be sure to get to you. If not, you'll probably have to wait till next week. All right, Seth, you said we have an interesting question coming in.
Yeah, a great question here, Shana. Paul is a new listener from North Carolina. Paul, welcome to the FISM family, man. It's good to have you on. And he's saying today is his first day ever trying to invest. He says, I don't really know how to start or where to begin, what tools to use, etc. Any advice would be so much appreciated. And Paul is just investing in general, Shana. This is his first day trying his hand at it.
Well, the best place to begin is at the beginning.
Yeah.
So what I would say to you is I would suspect that you're probably a Christian. If you found our show, you probably found it on a Christian outlet. So what I would ask you is, do you believe that God owns everything? If you do, then you have to believe that what you have to invest belongs to God too. So as a child of God, my heart is to make my Father proud, is to not do anything that God tells me not to do, because I know He loves me, and I know that what the instructions that He gives me are to keep me from harm and to keep me safe. So, because I know how much God loves me, and I believe that everything that I have belongs to him, I want to honor him in the way that I use everything. So to me, the first place to start is, do you want to do investing the way that the world does it? Or do you want to do investing the way that children of God do it? So children of God are very interested in promoting the things that God loves and avoiding or fighting back against the things that God hates. Well, if we read the scriptures, we find out what are the things that God hates. Well, he hates the shedding of innocent blood. So that tells me that he hates abortion. God tells us that marriage is between one man and one woman for life. God tells us that we're made male and female and that he gets to pick, not us, and that we are fearfully and wonderfully made and we're made with a purpose. So if we believe all of the things that the Bible tells us, then we do not want to do investing the way that the world does it. Because there are companies out there who are using shareholder dollars to fund ungodly agendas. What do I mean by that? Well, whenever you buy into a company, you are taking an ownership position in that company. So the shares that you buy represent your share of ownership of that company. So even though you're an owner of the company, in a big publicly traded company, you don't get to participate in the day-to-day management of that company. You are relying on the board of directors, the management, the C-suite, the CEO, the CFO, to make the day-to-day decisions about how that company operates. Unfortunately, there are some companies out there who think that it is their responsibility to make moral decisions for their shareholders and to support things like abortion by supporting Planned Parenthood or other abortion-minded clinics or agendas, who think it's a good idea to sponsor gay pride parades and gay pride festivals with money that belongs to their shareholders. There are companies out there who are profiting from pornography, hardcore pornography, soft porn. Netflix is one of them that I think of when I think of that. Microsoft, Amazon, they host pornographic websites on their sites and promote that kind of thing. So if your heart is aligned with the heart of God, you do not want to make money from the things that grieve the heart of the Lord. So that's where you start. You make a decision not to do investing the way that the world does it, and you commit to biblically responsible investing. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. If you want a hands-off way of doing that, you can go to a place like the Timothy Plan. The Timothy Plan is a biblically responsible mutual fund family. They are committed as we are to avoiding the garbage that's out there that people can invest in, screening out those companies who are funding an ungodly agenda. If you want a more hands-on approach, I would encourage you to check out our partnership. So our partnership gives you the ability to look at the asset allocation models, get a buy list for real companies that you can buy. We have a list of almost 70 different investments right now that you can check out and read about, see if they're good for you. We have videos on our website that tell you how to get started. So a good place to start is at the beginning, and I think that the Word of God and instruction from the Scriptures is the best place to start. The Bible even tells us that the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord. So if we can encourage you to have fear of the Lord and honor of the Lord in the way that you invest, then I think that we've done our job.
Awesome.
All right. We have time to get to the call?
I think we do. Alex from North Carolina.
Okay. Is he ready?
Yep, he is ready.
Okay. Yeah. Alex, you're live on Financial Issues.
Good morning, Shana. Good morning, Seth. God bless you all.
Hey, Alex. Good morning, buddy.
Shana, my question is this. Last year, I traveled to Mexico for visiting my parents and stuff, so I decided to open a Roth IRA while I was there, but I didn't really know what company or which place to open it with, so I finally opened it with Vanguard. I don't know if it was a right decision or there is another one. My question is this. I know that I can fund the 2024 IRA all up until I file my taxes for 2024. But my question is, can I if it is the right decision, it's okay. If not, can I open another one before I file my taxes to fund 2024, or that ended up on January 31st?
What'd you say? Did what end on January 31st?
The right to open a Roth IRA to fund it on 2024 or 2024 year.
No, you should be able to. Now, the qualifications for being able to fund an IRA, whether it's a Roth or a traditional, is that you have to have earned income. So on your tax return, you have to be able to prove that you had W-2 wages or something else that qualifies as earned income, and then you can contribute up to the limit for that, and you can do it up to your tax filing deadline. So I'm a fan of having just one type of account, unless you get into a more complicated situation, like on a traditional IRA. You don't want to mix pre-tax and after-tax dollars. There are some situations that could cause you to have both of those, and then you got to keep up with your with the pro rata portion of it so that you don't double pay taxes. But I think if you have an IRA, a Roth IRA already opened, you can you can just make that contribution before your tax filing deadline.
Oh yeah. Actually, my question was exactly that one. Is Vanguard the good place to have it, or is there any other that you might recommend?
If you're using Vanguard brokerage, I think that's fine, because the brokerage side of it's going to allow you to buy individual stocks. It'll allow you to buy mutual funds and ETFs, CDs, all of the different things that you'll find on our buy list. I would not open it with Vanguard Mutual Fund Company, because if that's the case, you're likely going to be restricted to just the funds that Vanguard offers, and the majority of their funds are not biblically responsible because they don't have any moral screens in place.
Okay, so for you, another company is better than Vanguard.
Well, I don't really have an opinion on the discount brokerage platforms. I'm in private practice, so I use the Fidelity platform for my clients. That's the one that I'm familiar with. But I think that, the other brokerage platforms are fine. The things that you're going to want to check out is it easy for you to use? Does it give you good information? Can you buy all of the things that are on our buy list that you would want to buy? Okay. And, is the cost to buy those things reasonable? Most of the discount brokerage platforms offer, I don't know if any of them offer free trades anymore, but a lot of them offer very, very cheap trades.
All right. Well, I only opened it with $100, only to have the record. I opened it before December 31st. But if that's the case, I can just cancel that one and open with Fidelity, the website that you use, so I can follow the plans, because I became a member, and I'm just trying to find out.
I think if it's on Vanguard brokerage, you're fine. I don't think that you need to cancel it. But if you decide that you want to use the Fidelity platform, which again, I don't think is necessary, you would do what's called a transfer to that custodian. I wouldn't cancel it out altogether, because it's just as easy to transfer. But if you're on the Vanguard brokerage platform, I think you're probably fine, and you can just add to that one.
Awesome. Shana, I think we had to let Alex go here as we're coming to the end of the show. But yeah, no, that's great. That's a great question for sure.
All right. Well, I guess we are at the end of the show today. Man, that flew by. Well, thanks for joining us today for Rapid Fire Friday on Financial Issues. If you're not familiar with our ministry, please check us out at financialissues.org, because we're here to remind you every day that the Master is coming back. God owns everything, and when the Master comes back, there's going to be a test. We're going to be asked how we handled the time, talent, and treasure that we were trusted to manage. Our goal at this ministry is to help you in your stewardship and help you be found a good and faithful steward when you give the answers to those tough questions when the Master returns. We hope that you have a wonderful day of worship on Sunday, and Lord willing, we'll be here next week to bring you more financial issues. So we hope that you're going to tune in. Learn more about our ministry at financialissues.org and make that gift to Preborn Ministries today when you go to our website.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Thank you for joining us. This has been an FISM production.
Married couples or even engaged, as you're coming together, working on your finances, God has blessed us incredibly, and it's been incredible to see what He's done in our lives. Just want to thank you, Financial Issues.
Join our partnership community by visiting financialissues.org/join. At Financial Issues, we understand the profound impact your support has in driving our mission forward. Through your donations, we're able to expand our reach on more radio and more TV stations, spreading the word about biblically responsible investing. Now, your money also supports us as we do the critical analytical work needed to identify high-quality, biblically responsible companies. So donate today at financialissues.org/donate. Again, that's financialissues.org/donate.
It's up to us to stand up and say, enough is enough. All of this unbiblical stuff that's going on, whether it's abortion or transsexual or LGBTQ, widespread pornography, human trafficking, bottom line, it's still up to us. If we stop investing in these corporations that are trying to destroy us, sooner or later they're going to wake up.
To learn more about biblically responsible mutual funds and ETFs, go to timothyplan.com.
This is the sound of a child's heartbeat, a life saved through the ministry of preborn, which empowers mothers to choose life in the face of unplanned pregnancies. A preborn baby's heartbeat can often be detected as early as 5 weeks on an ultrasound. This powerful moment is a life-changing experience for many mothers. This Valentine's season, we invite you to join Financial Issues and Preborn in a mission to save babies and transform lives. Your donation of $120 can make an extraordinary difference. This amount represents the average number of times an unborn baby's heart beats in a single minute. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, baby, or go to financialissues.org. That's financialissues.org and click on the preborn banner.
In the last 10 to 15 years being in ministry, being married, something that has been constant in our lives is Samaritan Ministries. As we've moved, we've had babies, we've had different things come up, we have just been able to rely on Samaritan in ways that we never really even thought about before becoming members.
Our heart's desire is to plant roots and be in a place for a really long time. It's how we were raised. We see the benefits of that, but we also see the open-handedness of being used by the Lord wherever He calls, because we just assumed when we started pursuing church planting, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And with the Lord, sometimes you find out it looks a lot more like this. And yet, Samaritan was with us through the entire thing.
We didn't have to look into, we have to change insurances now because we've moved states or whatever the case may be. And it's just been a real blessing to us in different phases of life.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Colleen.
And we're the Gen X.
And we're Samaritan members.
Every day, kids all across America are coming to school with some kind of hidden pain.
I've seen kids come in who are just so confused about what's right and what's wrong, just having no idea that God loves them. And this just breaks my heart. Crossroads has the opportunity to bring the Word of God right into the public school, to reach children right where they are.
And when we see that happen, we see God changing lives.
We want to see kids not only come to Christ, but pursue a lifelong relationship with Him. And so local churches are uniquely positioned to disciple those children as they become young adults and through their lifespan.
Crossroads comes alongside a church and provides that church with a club structure, curriculum, training, and ongoing coaching for them to run these outreaches in public schools.
If you are burdened for the children of America, consider making a donation to Crossroads Kids Club. For more information, visit reachOurSchools.com. That's reachOurSchools.com.
Are you a Christian seeking to align your investments with your faith? I'm Shana Burt, host of the program Financial Issues. During our program, we share valuable information about the financial issues of the day, including how markets and the economy are moving and how public companies are behaving, helping you to make wise decisions with your investments and the money that the Lord has blessed you with. Using biblical standards, we provide you with valuable financial insight based upon Scripture, making it easy for you to invest in a way that aligns with your values. I can assume that most of you have investments in a 401k or IRA, but what I am sure of is most of you have no clue that the companies in your mutual funds may be funding the LGBTQ agenda, pornography, abortion, the list goes on and on. By listening to Financial Issues, you will learn how to get rid of those investments that are dishonoring God.
Become a partner today by simply going to financialissues.org/join. Click the green button to become a partner.